Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. So, it's another Sunday, another episode of Game of Thrones. This one is going to be a video review for Game of Thrones Season 2, Episode 7, called A Man Without Honor. So, we got a couple episodes left after this, 8, 9, and 10, so 3, I guess. And then that will be it for Season 2 of Game of Thrones. I have enjoyed Season 2 as a whole, and when we get done, near the end, I'll definitely do a review of the whole season. But for some reason, I seem to like Season 1 better. Maybe it's just because we had Ned Stark in there. And this season, obviously, with what happened to Ned in the first season, we had to sort of explore the other character storylines and see what's going on with them. I think if I had to pick a season, at least at this point, I mean, once we get to the 10th episode, this could change. But I like the first season better than the second season. I'm just saying. Now, people are telling me that Storm of Swords, I think that's what it's called, the next book in A Song of Ice and Fire, has more action than any of the others, basically, and a lot of people are saying it's the best. So I have not read it yet. I have not read much of Game of Thrones, just a little bit, but I don't really have the time to do it, so I haven't checked it out yet. But I'm really excited to see that season. Obviously, in this episode, we got a lot of stuff going on in the different storylines. We got a lot of things coming to fruition now. Stannis is on his way. He'll be there within, they say, five days, maybe sooner if the wind's right. And in this episode, we get to see some really interesting scenes between, probably my favorite of the episode would be between Cat Stark. This was near the end of the episode. By the way, this review will contain spoilers, but not major spoilers, because nothing huge happens in this episode that's like, wow, crazy, shocking moments. There's really no shocking moments in this episode. Yeah, but my favorite part of this episode, I'd say, is probably going to be the scene between Jaime Lannister and Cat Stark, and like everything that Jaime's just saying. I mean, this dude is evil as evil can get out, man. I mean, I don't know who's worse, him or Theon Greyjoy. I mean, this episode, you kind of think probably Theon, but the way Jaime in this episode kills his cousin like that, like gets him all close and stuff, and then tells him you'll have to die, and just, ground and pound with, like double fist the crap out of him, and gets away. That was really an exciting scene, I thought, overall. And I thought he was probably going to, like, well, okay, realistically, if he's in the middle of the camp, he's not going to get out. He's not going to get away, or probably not. But I kind of thought for story's sake they might have him get away, even though that didn't, obviously that didn't happen. It didn't work out that way. And they were able to catch him again before the end of the episode. But I thought that might be something that they kind of like leave at the end of the episode as a cliffhanger to the next one. I think that would have made sense. But this cliffhanger is just as good, because after, Jaime's talking all that crap, Cat's like, Brienne, give me your sword, and so really excited to see what happens next week with that, what she's going to do, if she's going to be like, that's it, I've had enough, and just cuts his head off or something, or stabs him somewhere, or just tortures him or something. I mean, I don't even know, man. But he's talking some mad crap for somebody. It sounds like Jaime's just trying to wind her up. It sounds like he really wants to die at this point. He doesn't want to continue going on. He's hit that breaking point. I mean, to anybody, any person out there, any human being, you get past a certain point, and your will to live eventually will be broken. I mean, if you're tortured enough, all that kind of stuff, it doesn't matter, I think, how strong a person is. If they're tortured long enough, they'll be broken. Everyone would. Because your brain, the hardware, it's just like pain and all that kind of stuff. That overrides everything else. That overrides logical thought. Pain, all these signals in the brain interrupts, boom. If you get that kind of pain, nothing else, your willpower or anything else, no, I'm sorry. But when it gets to that stage, it's just how it is. Okay, so let's rewind a bit. Let's start from the beginning. So we get to see some scenes with Theon Greyjoy as he's in Winterfell, chasing after Bran and Hodog. I think that's his name, Hodog, the giant guy, the wildling girl, and the other boy. And from the end of the episode, pretty much the way they show it, it looks like Theon is putting on a staged event to try to sort of, persuade the people in Winterfell sort of to fear him, or I guess respect him kind of, but also, you know, just really just strike fear in their hearts by showing the two burned. They look like boys, but I mean, we're pretty sure at this point, like it can be, I think, conclusively said that those are like that's not Bran. One of them is not Bran, because obviously Bran is a central character to the story, and if that was going to happen, they would have showed it. You know, like it would have been built differently. So I'm sure that's just a display. But man, you just can't wait to see Theon get it. I mean, that guy is just brutal, man. Just absolutely brutal. I don't know who I hate more, him or Jaime Lannister. Probably him, actually, at this point. It's just awful, man. Just terrible. So that's that. By the way, I'm just letting you guys know I'm on painkillers right now. I have a toothache, so I'm a little out of it. So this review won't be my best ever, and I won't be able to talk too fast because of that. So just something to keep in mind. May take a little bit longer too. Jon Snow. Of course, we can see the scenes north of the wall with Jon and that girl. I forget her name. That he's the prisoner, so to speak. Well, not anymore. Now that he's basically Jon Snow's been ganked. You can say it. He's been ganked, and he's in big time trouble. I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Be interesting. I really don't know where the story is going to go with Jon at this point. I think it's kind of interesting to see like what's going to happen to him. He's just like been separated from his group, and now he's going to be kept captive himself. And man, he's totally out of his element out there and everything. So be realistic. It's funny to see him just get himself into trouble all the time. He's just like gets himself into trouble constantly with Craster and everything. You know, he volunteers to be, you know, to go with the Rangers, and then he does something like this. But he was kind of put in a bad situation. I mean, the other guys seemed like they didn't want to kill the girl, so they left. They're like, "You do it, leave it to him," and then they just leave. And he can't do it. I mean, he's a newbie, and you know, he hasn't been to war or anything like that. He's relatively young. So he's not going to be able to just kill her, you know. I mean, he probably should have, but obviously he wasn't able to, and now we get into this whole situation. Just a really, really funny whole situation there. Going on from that, so excited to see what happens with Jon next episode, if he's going to be taken prisoner and all that, or if they're just going to kill him. We'll see. They probably wouldn't kill him because his story is not too lengthy yet. I still feel like there's more to it there. You know, they're going more with that. At Harrenhal, we get to see Tywin and Arya's scenes, and I really liked a lot of the different scenes and stuff where he's kind of, you know, he's still. It's like he can tell that, you know, she's smarter than she's letting on, even from the way she speaks. Maybe he knows who she really is, maybe not, because he's a really smart guy too. I mean, I shouldn't just say that. For his time in this story, for his character, he's like a genius. He's brilliant, you know. But he's sort of like he's practically brilliant, you know. He's like a rich business owner that might not have a PhD, but really knows his stuff and how to get things done. You know what I'm saying? Just to give you kind of a analogy, so to speak, of the real world versus him in his world. So some really, really cool scenes between the two of them. Let me see here, just from my notes. And then she asks him sort of like, "Have you ever lost before?" he starts getting kind of pissed, you know. And then she says like, "Most girls are stupid." I thought that was just a fun scene. Everything about that, and the fact that she's too smart for her own good. Really interesting to see if he does know that obviously she's Arya or not. Just see what happens with that. It'd be fun. We got to see some scenes with Khaleesi that were good. Interesting scenes near the end there. I thought those were all pretty cool. That warlock dude that looks like a vampire, that dude is pretty badass. I mean, like, yeah, he does look sort of like a vampire, but at the same time, he's like, you know, like he's got no hair, all this. Just a really, really creepy, cool looking guy. I really like the part where he creates like shadow clones of himself. Or just clones, I guess you could say, and he slices the throats of like all those, like the 12 of the 13, I assume, who are there. Love to see that fat guy with the slick back hair get it, man. He's just such a slimy dude. There's something about dudes with slick back hair that just is like so slimy, you know. Anybody who has like slick back hair, it doesn't work anymore. I don't think these days. Just to see it doesn't work. So that was cool. Then we get to find out that that he obviously was the one who took the dragons, and that she'll get him back. and now Zaris Zaxxas, I think he said, I think that's how you say his name, is going to be the king of Kath, or at least try to be, and we'll see what happens with that. So that's all interesting to see. Khaleesi, Daenerys, I don't know, man. Like I said last week in last week's review that I really don't like her as a character, have trouble relating to her. And I still kind of do, but you kind of feel bad for her at the same time because she really has no one. You know, she's got nobody. Like, she's got Mormont, but other than that, you know, her people are almost, like, they're basically all dead at this point. She's really has nobody left, and he's pretty much taken things into his own hands, Zaxxas, and basically forced her hand. Like, she really won't have a choice, you know. If she tries to leave or whatever, they'll probably just kill her, you know. I thought it was cool, too, when Mormont stabs the warlock guy, one of the shadow clones of him, and it just doesn't do it, like, doesn't do anything. That was pretty cool. I love, they're starting to mix in more, like, sorcery now and that kind of stuff, and I think that's all really exciting, really interesting stuff, and a lot of fun. So that's that. I actually did enjoy Khaleesi's part in this one. I was interested. I wasn't just watching it to be like, okay, when is it over? When is it over? When is it over? No, it was cool. I actually liked it this time. Very interesting. I like that warlock guy. He's really cool. So excited to see what happens with that. We get to see Sansa's nightmare as she hits puberty, so to speak, has her period for the first time, and is going to be able to obviously have Joffrey's kids, should that come to be. But it looks like it probably won't because, you know, Stannis is getting close, so they're going to need to do something drastic. So they'll probably have to marry Joffrey off to someone else instead of Sansa. There's really no benefit in marrying Joffrey to Sansa at this point. You probably should just keep Sansa as a prisoner, and that really just be it. So, and you gotta feel bad for her too. I mean, her character in this story has just been thwomped on so many times, it's unbelievable. The cool scene with her talking to the Hound was kind of interesting, and it's kind of interesting his take on things. Like he says he likes killing dudes and that kind of stuff, and he's not a hero and all that. And I don't know, man. He's a weird character too. He's sort of like embraced that he's just really doing his job, and that he should try to enjoy it, I guess, even though his job is pretty badass at just killing people. Yeah, so that's that. Going on from there, what else we got? There was the funny part when Kat says to gag him too. I like that too. That was a lot of fun. I think that's pretty much it. The scene between Tyrion and Cersei was kind of cool, where she kind of admits to Tyrion that, you know, she pretty much, her and Jaime. It seemed like he already kind of knew, and she knew that he knew. So she probably just felt like, I might as well, you know, just admit it, and she could talk to him too. Whereas, you know, like she can't tell many people about that and talk about that and stuff, so she can confide in him. So that's all cool. Very excited to see the rest of the season, how it all plays out. The battle with Stannis when he hits. Hopefully that'll be this season. But I mean, we're getting pretty close to the end now. We only got 3 episodes left. There has been very little action fighting in this season. Have you guys noticed that? I mean, compared to last season, season 1, there was a lot of battles. There was some just just awesome, you know, sword fights going on. This season, we haven't seen that. You know, like for example, when Jaime Lannister gets captured, do we get to see him fighting when he gets captured? No, we don't. We don't get to see. And I would have really liked to see that. Like, okay, he gets captured, but how does it happen? You know, Jaime's fighting off the guys, and then, you know, Robb Stark's men, and then they somehow, you know, having a few of them there, are able to capture him. Well, I want to see that. You know, I want to see that kind of stuff, that battle there. So I just feel like this season, in terms of the battles, has really been letting me down. Last episode was good. We got to see some exciting stuff with the whole citizens rising up against Joffrey. But I'd like to see more action. I really would. And some people will comment, like I got comments before when I said that. People are like, "Oh, well, you're watching the wrong show then." And I think to myself, like, am I? Am I really? Because in the first season, they had tons of action. You know, and to kick off this season, we got to see the Hound smash that guy off of the not like a roof, but inside the castle, one of the walkways down into the other. So, you know, they're like, you don't need tons of sword fights, I think, but, you know, mix in one every couple episodes or every few episodes, and I think that's pretty sweet. There was a couple this season, but just, I think in comparison, the first season had so many more that, you know, I like to see more. So hopefully in the next 3 episodes, they'll finish it with a bang, and we'll get to see lots of, you know, big sword fights and stuff. But I don't know. It's not really looking like it. So definitely, this episode was decent. It was a good story builder. Some of the stuff was exciting. Obviously, Jaime Lannister scenes were exciting. Jon Snow scenes were exciting. Khalisee scenes were exciting. And that's pretty much it. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Let me know what you guys thought about the episode. Did you like it? Did you think it was kind of a little, it was okay? And also, too, let me know what you think about Season 2 so far versus Season 1. That's it for this video, guys. See you for the next one. Oh, by the way, anybody who watches my other videos, my Q&A, I'm going to leave it up for about a week, and then I'm going to answer the questions in the Q&A. Later, guys. Peace.